Monday with some sushi. Sushi. Victory Monday. How did those two things go together? Let's talk about it on the DNVR Broncos podcast with Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, writer extraordinaire Henry Chisholm, and Zach Stevens coming to you from the DNVR Bar after a Broncos win, first of the season at home in the Sean Payton era, second on the year. And man, we're going to talk about just later this week, what happens if they beat the Chiefs? Is this a season now? But today is not the day. We are still reliving this victory. And the reason I bring up sushi is, well, before I get into sushi, Todd, how would you celebrate a win after a game?
Usually a steakhouse. That was like the go-to. Go to Ruth's Chris or Del Frisco's or Ocean Prime. Get some good food, maybe some wine just to relax, you know, after a hard-fought game. But that was pretty much what we did.
Who are you going with? Family, teammates, friends, mixture?
Usually family.
Yep.
Because that's your time to really get together and hang out. Because I didn't really hang out before the games. I was too focused, or we're staying in the hotel. Yeah. And then right after the hotel, I go right to the stadium, so I don't really get to see them. Yeah. So it's a good time to, hang out with all the family.
Yep.
And I guess check off that family time box. So then afterwards, we can go have some fun.
When Pat got asked yesterday, how are you going to celebrate? It was the funniest. He said, shoot, probably a couple drinks. It's like, there we go. Like, I guess that's it. Most of the locker room didn't realize that there was a Travis Scott show last night at Ball Arena. And so when somebody brought that up, people got really excited. So I think that may have been how a handful at least celebrated.
Oh, that is how a handful celebrated because the Broncos hooked Travis Scott up with a suite at the game. So he was at the game.
Yep.
He and his crew had a full suite to themselves. So Travis Scott returned that gift to them, and a lot of Broncos were in their own suite at Ball Arena after the game.
I believe it.
And Sean Payton was not one of those guys, though. Instead,
could you imagine?
Sean Payton went to sushi with his family. That's not the craziest thing in the world. Probably a lot of guys do go to steakhouses and stuff. But what makes this crazy is Sean doesn't like sushi. So why would you go to a sushi restaurant if you don't like sushi?
Because, I mean...
Tempura? Does he get the tempura?
There you go.
I feel like as, the father in the family, he has the least amount of sway over where they go. So I saw Megan Payton, friend of the show, was in town for the game. I would guess it was her idea to go to. And again, just knowing family dynamics, the father in some situations has a lot of power in terms of where should we go get dinner? Maybe not a whole lot. I'm not sure if that's true for you, Todd.
No, I think I have the power.
Yeah, I mean, your kids are still young enough, too.
I have all boys.
Oh,
yeah. I think if I had girls, I'd probably have to be like, all right, where do you guys want to go?
Exactly, especially if they're in their 20s.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Flying in for the game.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep, these are boys that are just going to be with you no matter where you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you're right, Henry, that's why. But, is there a little caveat? I mean, he just won a game. Shouldn't you celebrate, if you're celebrating someone's college graduation, wouldn't you go to a type of restaurant that the college grad likes to go to?
Well, you only graduate from college once.
Yeah.
Well, you only win one home game your first time once, too.
In theory, this should be a common occurrence. And so you shouldn't need to go all out every time.
And it didn't really feel like he was in a real celebratory mood after the game.
He was not.
And
so not only was he going to a sushi restaurant when he doesn't like sushi, but he said he was just sitting in the parking lot pissed off about the game. Because he said, I know I should have been happy, and he was happy initially right after the game. Then he talked to media, and the media kind of pissed him off. And then he was just pissed off seemingly the rest of the night because he said, I was searching for a perfect game, and we didn't have that. I'm happy to get the win, but there were so many things that did not go right. And did you guys see the clip of Sean going crazy on Vance Joseph and PJ Locke?
Yes.
He was
hot.
Not happy about that. Yeah, you hear it. If you can pull that up. That was one of the things, having to call 2 timeouts due to substitutions or only having 10 guys on the field. He was not happy about that. He was not happy with how quickly the team scored a field goal and then in order to give the ball back to the Packers, and then they had a shot to come back and win. I don't mind that from a coach when you're searching for perfection all the time. Sean was just really spicy after the game, and I just thought he was going to enjoy the first home win a little bit more.
I totally understand that, because as a player, like, even if we win, but I feel like I had a terrible performance, I'm mad. Like, yes, we won, but at the end of the day, I want to perform well and help our team win, not be like a crutch that got carried along, you know?
Yeah.
And so I totally understand. I mean, even after the Super Bowl, overcome with joy, but I definitely had a moment there where I was mad because I didn't feel like I played the way I wanted to. I didn't have the impact I wanted to. You know, I got over it, but I definitely had some feelings like I wanted to do better than I did.
After like drink 1 or 3, did you overcome it?
I think it was maybe a couple Lil Wayne songs snapped me out of it, and I was feeling all right.
Yeah, I mean, the Packers aren't a good team.
No.
Like, I know the Broncos obviously have done what they've done to this point in the season, but still, if you're Sean Payton, you're not saying, like, I want to squeak out a win against the Packers. It's like, we should just go out there. I just want to put up like 40 points and beat them by a bunch.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he said, too? I think he pointed to 40 in
Did
today's
he say 40?
press conference, I think.
Yeah, there you go. You could have.
And yeah, that's just watching the Packers for an entire game. Oh my gosh, they are bad.
They're terrible.
Yeah, and that kind of, I know there's tank talk. The tank talk will probably die down a little bit this week, maybe re-spark next week if the Broncos aren't able to beat the Chiefs. But you look at the Packers and you're like, the Broncos aren't going to get the number 1 overall pick. I mean, the Packers already have 2 wins, and they seem to be way worse, I guess 2 points worse than the Broncos, and like there's got to be worse teams out there than that. But the Broncos, they almost put together a full game, and they did better than typically in the past. In the past, it's like they put together half a game on both sides of the ball, and it's just not enough. This time they put together 3 quarters of a game. There was a stretch from midway through the third quarter to midway through the fourth quarter where the Broncos just absolutely lost it. And that's when they gave up the lead. They were up 16-3. Then in literally 1 quarter, they blew it and were down 17-16. But the reason they won the game is they only kept the bleeding to 1 quarter instead of an entire half like they had in the past. If that would have been an entire half, they wouldn't have had that comeback. They would have lost the game. Then we're talking about how the hell did the Broncos lose to that terrible Green Bay Packers game? So the Broncos, over the past few weeks, specifically on defense, have been putting it together. And this team is getting a little closer. So you come away from yesterday, and how do you guys feel about that 2-point win?
I feel blessed that we played the Green Bay Packers. I think the boys came out and they played well. They were hitting hard. But if Jordan Love is just an okay quarterback, I don't even know why you're throwing the ball deep. You're 17-19. All you have to do is get a field goal, and you can win the game. There's no deep shots. Like, we're checking everything down. If we need to try and get a 55-yard kick as time expires, like, that's the route we go to, you know? PJ came across and made a good play. He can't, you know what I'm saying? PJ got to make the most of it. It wasn't hit, you know what I'm saying? Just because Jordan Love decided to make a terrible decision, like, that's on him. But thank God we're playing the Packers. For sure.
And the Broncos had put him in a 3rd and 20 there. And it's 4-down territory. So, you get the stuff on 1st down. I mean, I guess it's just a holding that made it 2nd and 20. So that's not really credit to the Broncos as much. But then the incompletion. So at least the defense showed a little bit of life there. And then PJ took advantage of the play. Also, PJ Locke, this is 2 game-winning plays for him because he had the strip sack, or not strip sack, just the strip that won the game against the 49ers last year. And that's part of the reason he played 112 snaps last year. He was the 2nd highest graded Bronco on defense, maybe overall. Potentially overall. I mean, it'd be him or Quinn probably for 2nd behind Pat Surtain last year. So he gets his opportunity finally after barely playing, shows up and gives you a game-winning interception on a great play too, coming all the way across the field like that. I mean, might have something there.
Well,
might have a starting safety there.
He really looks like and reminds me of Caden Stearns. Caden Stearns was one of the most efficient players in the few snaps that he played over the past few years, but just injuries, he wasn't able to play a lot. But Caden Stearns, he played 100 snaps and had 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 sacks, and it's like, geez, if this guy could stay healthy, he can be a game changer. And now PJ's kind of taken that role as like,
definitely,
man, he's only on the field for like 30 snaps, but he's really making plays. So really good to see PJ step up there. Like I mentioned earlier, there was that clip of Sean going crazy on Vance and PJ, because PJ wasn't in the game, so Sean was forced to call a timeout, and he was irate about that during the game. After the game, do you have that clip? Were you able to find it? Nope. Yeah, super producer, you're here. Not coming up super right now with that clip. The Broncos were able to pull it out. And on the offensive side, it just seemed like the Broncos dominated this game offensively. At one point, they had 200 yards to the Packers, like 60 yards midway through, or almost at halftime. Like Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, Courtland Sutton, and Russell Wilson all individually had more yards themselves than the Packers had as a team collectively. Like the Broncos were just dominating, and yet only 19 points because of just red zone struggles and not being able to capitalize there. But I want to ask you guys, is Courtland Sutton back to his Pro Bowl form? Are we finally seeing pre-injury Courtland Sutton? Because Courtland was tremendous yesterday. Without Courtland, the Broncos don't win. Jerry now taking that seat behind Courtland, because Courtland was fantastic. Jerry was also 5 for 5. 5 targets, 5 receptions. These receivers, are they starting to find something, or was that just going against a bad Packers defense who was without their top cornerback and really top player in Jair Alexander? And I want to get your opinion on that after I tell you about our friends over at Circa. And you need to listen up on this, because we are unveiling this for the first time today. Todd, you want to go to Vegas?
Hell yeah.
Henry, you want to go to Vegas?
Oh, I love Vegas.
How about Vegas in January? Escape some of this cold?
Let's do it.
Well, we're doing it. We are. You here? You want to go to Vegas?
Do I get to go to Vegas?
I don't know. I can't promise that. I know Todd and Henry are coming. But we are going to Vegas for Broncos Raiders Week 18. And if you want to join us, we've got a package set up through Circa for you. You're going to get 20% off a 2-night stay at Circa Resort, 2 tickets to Winter Swim and Concert, 2 passes to Stadium Swim, which is their awesome pool setup where they have the massive TVs outside, not even TVs, jumbotrons outside where you get to watch football. You get DNVR tailgate and watch party at the Stadium Swim, and 1 annual Die Hard membership package, and an option to buy a game ticket as well. So head to the link in our description in our YouTube to get signed up for this. You're going to get deals, discounts, and you're going to be able to roll with us in Vegas for Week 18 Broncos Raiders. So check them out over at Circa Casino Resort. And if you're not able to make that, you're still going to get 20% off when you stay at Circa by using the code DNVR. So check out Circa Casino and Resort.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I'll be ready to go.
Oh, hell yeah.
That'll be the first time in Vegas, like, for a game. I've never played in Vegas.
Of course,
That's true.
No, Sac State, no. I was thinking Mountain West, UNLV, but you wouldn't have played there either.
Nope.
And you guys didn't make the Las Vegas Bowl?
As
hosted by Gronk.
Yeah. Yes, is that the one?
Yeah. No, it's the Los Angeles Bowl, the LA Bowl.
Vegas would be so much more Gronk style.
It would. It's kind of a waste.
Yeah, it really is.
What is the Vegas Bowl? Is that Mountain West and Pac-12?
No idea. I think so, because I think there was talk of CU playing in that.
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
But really quick, it's actually code DNVR20 to get 20% off.
Ooh, good call.
And shout out to our friends over at Game Time. If you want to come to that game or any other game, any sporting event, concert, I think Game Time is the best way to get your tickets. The app is really easy to use. You can download it now. Use code DNVR for $20 off, which is awesome. And you don't have to wait to have great seats. They have last-minute killer deals, all-in pricing, great views from your seat, the best price guarantee. Game Time really takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. So if you're looking for some tickets to any concert, event, comedy show, go check out Game Time. Tell them DNVR sent you. Use code DNVR for 20% off your first purchase.
What's going on behind the scenes here?
We had a discussion before about whether Mountain West football is pointless.
Wow.
I mean, well, because the thing is
Or are you saying it is pointless?
I mean, what do you? What's the goal? Like
okay, Mr. Montana. You
go-
can't say Mountain West football.
But you played for a
pointless and cheer for
championship.
Montana.
But that was the point. Is there's all people always saying like Montana should go up. And it's like, why would you want to go up to somewhere where you're just like trying to get a chance to go lose like $100,000 playing in El Paso in some game nobody's gonna watch? Like you get a month playoff run. Like FCS football is way more fun than G5 football.
That's
that's
a
a
fair point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
fair
at least
point.
there's something to play for.
Yeah.
Like there's like not as many people watch, and there's those sorts of things for sure. But like, I don't know.
And I
Group of
guarantee
five.
you that the top 5 teams, 10 teams in the FCS can beat the Mountain West teams.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
I mean-
like you put Montana Mountain West, I bet they would. Sac State definitely does. Montana State
Montana State.
definitely does.
Let's not even. I mean, let's go a step further. That there's Sac State can beat Stanford,
Well, we did.
which can beat
Yeah.
CU,
Yeah.
which can beat CSU.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, definitely, absolutely. You can take it even higher than the Mountain
Just a
West.
couple weeks ago, I was talking to our guy Luke Wattenberg, who played at Washington, who lost to Montana a couple years ago.
Yep.
He loved talking about
We,
that.
we killed the Pac-12. I think the Big Sky kills the Pac-12
Yeah.
like almost every year.
That
So then
year that
why don't you guys
Montana-
pick on someone your own size? Why
Like
don't
who?
you
we
move
do.
up? Take
That's
that challenge.
Big Sky.
No, yeah.
If we move up, it's not a challenge though. Exactly. You know?
Yeah.
So what? You guys move down then? Is that gonna be a thing?
Yeah.
That's
I
what it
don't
would feel
know.
like because like you're just playing to go to some like little bowl game or something.
Uh-huh.
Like I just don't get the appeal. But again, that's growing up in Montana where that's college football is like, okay, starting in December, playoff time.
And that's when it'll be nice when the playoffs expand to
True.
12 teams and it'll actually feel more
And
like a
then
playoff.
Then the Mountain West will be.
Yeah, I'm not going to put any money on Mountain West team being in there.
There'll be at least one. Oh no, Mount
You
West.
think-
Mount one group
oh.
of 5. One group of 5 champion, I think, is guaranteed to go.
Actually, like by the rules?
I
Or
think
you're
it's
just saying
yeah, it's 5 Power 5 conferences
Oh, so
and
you weren't really-
the best, highest ranked group of 5 champion.
you weren't really like going out on a limb there. You're just explaining the rules.
No, I'm not going. on that. But yeah, and at that point, it'll be more fun.
It will be.
Yeah.
Speaking of explaining the rules, we're going to dive into this tomorrow with the man himself. Pat Surtain is going to be on the show tomorrow. But does anyone know what the hell the rule is on interception versus touchdown if there's double possession? Because I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah, it's supposed to be if all 4 hands go at the same time. First of all, it's the first to get 2 hands on it. If that's a tie, then it's whoever gets their foot down first. I don't know what
You
happens
sure?
if. I think so.
You sure?
Yeah,
Because that's not what the officials said after the game.
I think that they're wrong then.
Well, we're gonna have to look into that
We
because
should.
if so, not only is the official that called the game wrong,
Mm-hmm.
they also brought in
Gene Steratore.
no,
Oh.
because he's like just media. They also brought in like head of NFL officiating in the pool report. It's not Wes Anderson because he's like the movie director, but it's something like that. And
they're all
he
wrong.
commented. And that would be the NFL officials being wrong, which is wild. So, Henry, maybe that's your homework tonight.
I'll check.
Along with game grades, is figuring out if the NFL officials were wrong, because I think our boy Pat was robbed. But we're going to dive into that
I think so, too.
tomorrow. But before then, we got to talk about Jerry Jeudy and Courtland Sutton, specifically Courtland Sutton, because I think that Courtland just simply coming back from that injury has not been himself. And for years now. And I started to believe that this was just the new Courtland, unfortunately, that the injury just got him. But now we're seeing big play after big play from Courtland. Specifically yesterday, not only the touchdown, that was really credit to Sean Payton. I mean, a great play design. Broncos maybe could have been called for a pick there. Todd, if you're in that position and the tight end's treating you like that, you might be throwing your hands up like, what's going on here? But in the first half, Courtland was targeted 3 times on 3rd down, came up with 3 huge first down catches, and none bigger than the very first one. The Broncos were about to go 3 and out, but Russ on a deep 3rd and 8 hits Courtland for 33 yards, not only gets the first down, but then the Broncos are automatically in scoring range. Then they don't have to worry about a 3 and out, and then the Broncos really should have had a touchdown on that drive, but Courtland was just huge this game. Is he back to his Pro Bowl self?
I think he's playing at a really high level right now. I think they're really. Yesterday is the first time I saw them take what the defense was giving them. You know, I feel like they were playing Courtland in a lot of off coverages. Like, okay, like Courtland's a big body receiver. All he needs to do is get in front of you. We'll take this slant, 9 times out of 10, and then when you come press them, like the long passes you're talking about, okay, we'll try over the top. There was no safety leaning to that side, like giving Courtland that respect. Like, there's a pocket in between the corner playing press man and the safety back deep, and Russ was able to find that yesterday. So I think he's just playing at a high level, and they finally utilized him today. We talk about it all the time, like you could be a good player, but if you're in the wrong system or if you're not utilized, then you don't look as good. So I think he's playing really well right now, and I think he's, I guess you could say, back.
Yeah.
When he's utilized, he's back. That's
exactly. And I almost wonder if he wasn't all that gone last year. Like if maybe they just had a really bad offense and so he didn't get many opportunities because receiver is a dependent position. You don't just get to go out there and make plays yourself. Because even when you look at it, like 7 games this year, 50 yards a game, 15 games last year, 55 yards a game. So it's not like what he's doing is groundbreaking. He's caught more touchdowns, but I almost think that's just a product of the offense being in better positions, like getting to the red zone, having opportunities. So I think Courtland's playing great. I think he's played great all season, but I also think that maybe he played pretty well last year and was just weighed down by a terrible offense.
So you look at Courtland, and the one stat that really, really sticks out this year is his catch percentage. Coming into this year, he hadn't had better than a 59% catch percentage, and you want to see that be better, especially when he's supposed to be this 50-50 guy, but he just hasn't been put in that position. Like you said, Todd, I mean, he just has not been used to his strengths. This year, 72% catch percentage. That's what you're talking about, and I think that's a big reason why, on third down, Russ is looking to him. You can tell that when Russ needs a catch, he's going to Courtland Sutton. I thought before Tim Patrick's injury last year, Tim Patrick was going to be that guy, and we didn't really see anyone step up into that role last year, and now Russ is really looking his way on third down when he needs a catch, and I think that's big. But right now, Courtland Sutton's on pace for 74 catches this year in 850 yards. So good, but
what he does.
But it's not like, I guess that's underwhelming in the sense of that would be fine if that's your number 2, but Jerry's not on pace for anything better than that either. But Courtland Sutton is potentially coming off the best game of his season right now, which we've been talking a lot of trades and what that means if the Broncos are going to move on from Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton. Did Courtland increase his trade value yesterday if you're going to go that route?
Real quick on the catch percentage, though. So average depth of target this year is 9.8. Year before was 12.3, 15.4, 17.7. So they're throwing all these underneath things to him for the first time instead of going deep. So I bet that's probably a big reason for that catch percentage being a lot higher too. But yeah, I mean, he's helped himself for sure. Or helped the Broncos. Helped himself if he wants out, I guess. I think that you definitely look at a game like that and get more excited about trading for him if you are another team. I'm not sure that it's revolutionary again because like the numbers are 76 yards, 6 catches and a touchdown. Week before, 46 yards and a touchdown, 4 catches. Like he's had a couple games. This is definitely one of the best ones, but I don't know that it fundamentally changes how teams look at Courtland Sutton. It helps.
Yeah, I think it helps because he's making plays. You know, first and foremost, I think GMs are looking for guys that are going to make plays. And for him, I think you got to look at his targets and his opportunities. You talk about, 74 catches on the year. You got guys like A.J. Brown that had 11 receptions last night.
Yep.
Like, he's just being utilized in the right way. Tyreek Hill has 52 catches already. A.J. Brown has 53 catches already. Like, it just matters how much they're utilizing him that really can show what he can do. Because if he's averaging, what is he averaging right now per catch?
11 maybe? I can check real quick.
He's averaging 11.3. Yep.
11.3.
Yeah, so now he gets 7 catches a game, 8 catches a game. Sure. Like, now he's a big-time receiver in the NFL, and he's really making his name known. So I think it's just a matter of getting him his touches.
Yeah, and that's a very fair point. So I guess before we get into trade value, is Courtland Sutton someone that you want to have here for the long haul or for the rest of the season? And probably if you're looking at trading a guy or keeping a guy, you're looking at not just keeping them for the final 10 games of this season. You're saying we also want to stick with them next year too because of just where the season's at. Is Courtland Sutton a guy that you say we want to get max value right now, or I think he's part of the future?
I think he is too. I think he's still young enough to be a part of the future, and I do think you still go in and bring in an older, salty vet. I think that would add to this room really of young wide receivers. But you can't take away the young talent that we do have. And in my eyes, Courtland's still young, so he's not old enough to really move on from. But I would like to see them bring in another kind of like name to make sure we keep him one-on-one to give him the best opportunities, because I think that helps the team out a lot.
Yeah, well, and I think that by these numbers and what we just the lack of great consistency that we haven't seen from Courtland or Jerry is these guys probably aren't a bona fide number one receiver right now. Mm-hmm. And so to your point, Todd, if Courtland ends up being the Broncos' number one, but he's not true number one, if he is getting locked down by the team's top cornerback, well, you probably do want someone to open him up to keep him as like a great number two on your team. So I totally see that. And what it boils down to is clearly Russ and Courtland are starting to really find something special.
For sure.
So the question to me is Russ part of your future? If you think Russ is your quarterback in 2024, like we've talked about, then he's your quarterback in 2025 as well. Don't take Courtland Sutton away from him when I think it's pretty clear Russ likes Courtland more than Jerry right now. Don't take his favorite target away if Russ is your future. Yeah. If Russ isn't your future, okay, then I think this week is the time to move on from Courtland Sutton, because I do think Courtland Sutton helped his price yesterday in his trade value. I think if it was a 5 or a 6, I think you can get a 4 now for Courtland. Really? And the reason for that is we saw it with Albert O.
Yeah.
Albert O was going to be cut in a heartbeat and be available on the open market. Albert O goes out there, and in the preseason against 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th stringers has a great game, and the Broncos are able to get something in return. So I do think one game can change the trade value. And why I would do it now is the Chiefs' cornerbacks are really good, and the Chiefs' defense is legit. The Chargers only scored 1 offensive touchdown against the Chiefs yesterday, and I don't think that Courtland or Jerry are gonna have as good of games this coming week as they did this past week. So I think Courtland's trade value is probably as high as you're gonna get. And if Russell Wilson's not gonna be your quarterback next year, and you can get a 4 for Courtland, it's probably worth it then.
Yeah, this is a tough game to go into with the trade deadline coming around, because we can talk about Courtland and Jerry's inconsistency, but there's been a lot of inconsistencies at quarterback.
100%.
When we look at the Chiefs, we automatically blame the wide receivers because we know how consistent Patrick Mahomes is. Yeah. But we don't take into consideration how inconsistent that Russell Wilson has been. So I think it's less about the corners he's facing this week and more about can Russell put the ball in position for them to win. Because even last time they played the Chiefs, Courtland had his guy beat a couple times, but if you throw it in my back hip pocket on a tight coverage, I maybe not be able to catch that. But if you lead me and allow me to stretch my 6'4" arms out and catch the ball, maybe I can put together something. So I do kind of agree, like, if this is the week to do it, but I think it's less about the corners. I think it's more about, I don't know if Russell can get the job done. You look at the corners, the games, the catches that Courtland had this week were easy throws for Russ. He was in off coverage. All you got to do is, put it on his body. He can fall down, get the, 3rd down, convert, and we can keep the drive running. I don't know if he can do that this week.
Yeah, well, and that's fair. And I don't know what I was going to say. With Russ, the last time he played the Chiefs, he had under 100 passing yards. Yeah. So doesn't that scare you if you're trying to get max value? You're like, maybe Russ comes out in balls, but like recent history 10 days ago tells you like maybe not. And if your quarterback has 95 passing yards, how many is Courtland capable of?
Exactly.
40
at the most.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's tough because if you don't have him next year, you save about $9.5 million. If you trade him, you get like a 5th round pick, maybe 4th round pick. You're probably not getting a Courtland Sutton with that pick. Odds are you're getting somebody who's never a starter in the NFL. So with that $9.5 million, what are you going to do with it? Probably go get a receiver, I'd guess, because now you're kind of out of options. And so you look through the list of receivers, Marcus Valdes-Scantling makes about $10 million. Michael Thomas is at 10. Russell Gage at 10. Tyler Boyd closer to 11. Alan Lazard 11. Jacoby Myers 11. Juju 8.5. So
you want Juju?
I don't. I don't at all. So
I want Juju on this football team. I don't want Juju Smith-Schuster, but I think this football team is a little bit of Juju.
But that's where, if the idea is you're going to save that $9.5 million, you're going to need a receiver, and you're probably going to go get a receiver who's worse than Courtland Sutton. And with that draft pick, you're probably going to trade for somebody or draft somebody who's worse than Courtland Sutton. So that's kind of the math you have to take. Where do you want those gambles? And the kicker, though, is that if they trade him now, about $8 million will be paid by the other team for the rest of the season. So there's that bonus $8 million that you could bring in. So there's what the numbers say.
I feel like we're just nickel and diamond, $8 million here, $9 million here. Exactly. We have a huge $80 million dilemma we have to figure out.
Exactly.
And so that's something that comes into
There's
it.
10%.
You need to free up money if you want to move on from Russ. So that also comes into all of this conversation. And also, though, Marvin Mims, I mean, we're talking like 2 targets in the past 3 games for Marvin, 1 catch for 4 yards or something like that. Yesterday, he plays in 18 snaps, 1 target, and there wasn't really a chance on that shot that they took to him. To me, that's also a benefit of moving on from one of these guys, is it forces Marvin Mims to have a bigger role, which I think Sean at this point needs help getting Marvin Mims more. I don't know what it is, but last week Sean admitted, he said, at the end of every game, I look at the stat sheet and say, man, I need to get Marvin Mims more targets. And like in the middle of the game, he just forgets about Marvin Mims. But like, it's not like then throughout the week, he's like, yeah, Marvin has a lot to do, a lot to work on. No, he's saying we need more targets for Marvin. So that's a benefit that would come from trading one of these guys. And so let's talk about the other guy, Jerry Jeudy. 5 for 5, 5 targets, 5 catches yesterday. Maybe his best performance. And it looked like for a second, like, oh my gosh, after that little dead leg move that he put on, and then he falls down. You're like, no, like, is this a long-term injury for the people that want to trade Jerry? They're like, no, now we're not going to be able to trade him because he's going to be hurt. Turns out, just a little unfortunate punch straight to the private parts, and then Jerry was fine after.
He was going for the ball and then got the balls.
I know. You think Jerry wish he would have hit the ball instead?
Absolutely.
Rather fumble. Yeah. I mean, I thought something horrible had happened. Like his reaction, the pain he was in was remarkable because it was like a full minute. He was just like in a ball, face down on the sideline. I was like, oh, in a ball. And it was like, oh my goodness, what just happened to this man? Like, this has to be serious. Like, for him to not even,
that hurts, though. That's a different type of pain.
It all adds up now when you realize that that's what happened. He didn't pull something. Like,
and that peanut that's a punch. That's an aggressive punch. Like,
peanut,
it's like another peanut, but you know what I'm saying?
It all made sense in the end.
A little cup check there.
Yeah.
He failed.
Yes,
he did not have a cup.
He did fail. And Jerry, I mean, did that increase? Did yesterday's game increase his trade value?
I think so. I think he continues to show that, you know, if he uses the right system, that he could be a good player. So I think it increased his trade value just a little bit. I don't know if it's another roundup as far as a pick, but I think he did show that he is a good player, but also is able to bounce back from all the trash in the media and like is able to come to work with his lunch pail and put together a good performance after all the crap that was said off the stuff with Steve Smith. Like kind of put that behind him and went to work. So I like that. I like seeing that.
That's a really good point. And maybe it increases his value, like you said, Todd, not necessarily by a full round, but instead of a contender going out and spending their 3rd round pick, which would be 30th in the 3rd round. Maybe the Panthers now say our 3rd round pick, which is the first pick in the 3rd round right now, is worth Jerry Jeudy. And then so that's a significant increase because then you're talking about almost a 2nd round pick for Jerry. And I just think the biggest thing with this, there's 2 things. I think both of these guys' values are the highest they're going to be before the trade deadline right now this week for reasons we've talked about. And second, the Broncos were open to really shaking this receiver room up all offseason, and we talked about it. I don't think this season has shown Sean Payton, like, no, I actually want to stick with this receiver group. So I do think that they still end up moving one of these guys, and I think that yesterday was a perfect game for these guys outside of having like an A.J. Brown 125-yard game or something. They both showed consistency, reliability, and their talent in their own unique ways. And really quick, I could not believe when that stat flashed across the screen on Sunday Night Football that A.J. Brown has 5 straight 125 receiving games, 125-yard receiving game. That is I thought that was a mistake or something. That's insane.
Yep.
That's a big body right there.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a hard matchup for any DB.
Yeah, those guys are just hard to find. But unless you have like the number 3 pick in the draft, then you can go get Marvin Harrison Jr.
It's true.
But that's kind of the only way to do it.
Yeah. And speaking of the draft, someone said that Jerry Jeudy got hit in the Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, that was
wow. It kind of rude saying Junior though for Jerry's there.
Okay,
I'm not getting into that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it. Maybe give us some respect. I don't know.
wow.
And speaking of giving some respect, let's give some respect to Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. If you want to grab some Breck Brews, just like we have on our set, go to breckbrew.com, top corner of their website. You're going to find the Breck Brew locator, which is going to show you where you can get any type of Breckenridge beer, whether you live in Denver, whether you live anywhere in the United States. Make sure to check out breckbrew.com. They've got beer for all sorts of weather, and good thing because we're going to have all sorts of weather this week. I think we get like 70s or 80s, and then Sunday for the Chiefs game, 30 and snow. So that could be fun. Maybe that helps the Broncos out. So check out breckbrew.com.
Go on over to FOCO, too, and get yourself some gear. I haven't logged on in a couple weeks, so I'm sure there's a whole bunch of crazy new stuff. Oh, wow. Different bracelets from all the different TV shows and movies you could think of. See, again, like, you just never know. You want, like, a Ted Lasso, Harry Potter, what's this one? Rick and Morty, Game of Thrones. I mean, all that stuff up there now. And of course, they've got all the Bronco gear that you could ever hope to find. Snoopy bobblehead, a whole bunch of different T-shirts, and a Denver Broncos white drawstring hooded gaiter. So it's like the top part of a sweatshirt with like this thick part too. It's just like everything you could think of. This is a Broncos logo chef hat. Never seen it before. If you want it, it's right here. All sorts of good stuff. The bobbleheads, the overalls. Go check it out. If you're buying like a gift for somebody, or if you're just looking for some more Broncos gear for yourself, it is all at FOCO. And if you use the code DNVR20, you get 20% off all non-presale items. It's DNVR for 10% off. I had to guess. I closed the thing. DNVR for 10% off at FOCO. Head on over there. Buy yourself some Broncos gear.
Yeah, and if you're watching on YouTube, here we'll show you that it is DNVR for 10% off. Some news coming down the wire right now. Chiefs linebacker Nick Bolton is going to miss a couple of weeks after having surgery on a dislocated wrist. So Broncos will be playing a Chiefs defense without Nick Bolton, and that's good news because the Chiefs defense is playing really good right now.
Yeah, I never want to see anybody injured, but
no.
He's a really good player, so I am happy that he's not playing in this game this week.
Yeah. It's really true. And speaking of things that make me happy, inside scoop.
Wait. Okay.
Whoa.
I don't know. You had the first comment about Jerry. I didn't know I was like, this pod is going left quick, man.
It is.
I want to get into the inside scoop. I mean, things that make me happy. I love ice cream and scoops, and I also like football. So let's get into this inside scoop. Of course, breaking down the crucial plays of the game with our guy Todd Davis, the real 51, even though I saw another 51 on the field yesterday.
Hey, I got to talk to Greg about that. see if we can get some things changed. No, but this is the Broncos, man. I think they had a pretty good game yesterday. I want to highlight a couple of plays. This is the first quarter, starting off early with some good runs by Javonte. And what I liked most is that, what was hurting the Broncos defense early in the year were powers. People running all those powers, people finding different ways to get into the formations. And the Broncos were like, hey, we could do it too. So you see Javonte get this handoff. This is a power. They found another way to do it. Instead of having the guard pull around, they just have the tackle block down on the outside, and they bring the tight end that's off the ball back as the second puller. So they're able to bring these two pullers around. They have the fullback leading the way. The tight end comes around and does a chop block. I wish he would have stayed up because it creates a little bit more of a clean running lane for Javonte. But nevertheless, with people in his face, Javonte is able to maneuver through the offensive line, get to the second level. And this is what I love. You get a running back who's hard to tackle and a lot of green grass. And shout out to the offensive line for doing their job this play. But this is what you want. Javonte is a talented runner. If you're able to give him just a little window, I think he's able to make you regret it for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, shout out to the offensive line. They were opening up big holes for Javonte, Jaleel, Samaje all day long, and then you get Javonte ahead of steam.
Yep.
He's impossible to tackle. Jaleel, you just get him a little bit of room, and he's going to make it even more. And then Samaje also had a really good game, and shout out to the offensive line. I'm happy you highlighted him, Todd.
They're really good right now.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that they'd move up, so they came into the game with 4.9 yards per carry, which was 4th in the NFL. Got up to 5.1 yesterday. It's still 4th. I was kind of thinking that might get them up to like 2 or 3, which would be cool. But that's the level they're playing at.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's been basically every game that they've been able to run like this. A couple games they didn't commit to it, and that stung them. But you've got that going in a snowy game on Sunday against a team that's without its middle linebacker.
Yep.
I don't know. There might be something there.
All right, I'm with it. And that's why part of the reason why you when you bring up Marvin Mims, like, I just don't see where he gets his touches right now.
Yeah.
Courtland was 100%, Jerry was 100%, and then you have, in my eyes, they maybe should run the ball a little bit more. They're doing
Definitely.
such a good job
100%.
with it. Like, they should find a way to get the ball in these, dynamic runners' hands.
Of course, and I mean, Jaleel had 4 carries for, I believe, over 40 yards. I think 42 yards in the first half.
Yep.
Only got 1 carry in the second half. So I think even despite the team having 25 rushes to 29 dropbacks yesterday, they should run the ball even more. And that 5.8 yards per carry that the Broncos had yesterday includes the 2-yard loss by Michael Burton that they did on a fullback dive, and an 11-yard loss by Marvin Mims. So, like, 2 cute plays.
Yep.
Even with those going for negative 13 yards combined, they still averaged 5.8 yards per carry. Javonte averaged 5.5 yards per carry. Jaleel, 9 yards per carry. Russ had that one really nice run where he just took off for 21 yards, and Samaje, 2 carries for 10 yards.
So if you take off Mims and Burton, would have been 6.9 yards per carry.
Nice.
Yep, nice.
I like it. Your math is phenomenal, my guy.
Yeah.
All right, this is the next play. So offensive line did a great job on the play before. Once again, they do it again. This is what's called the kick. And offensive coordinators love the kick because it allows the running back to pick a hole. Mm-hmm. So basically, we're going to put a body on a body. Pause, you hear. We're going to put a body.
Oh, wow.
Basically, they put a body on a body, and they block it up to where you can choose any one of these gaps. You can go through the A gap between the center and the guard. You can go through the B gap between the guard and the tackle, and you can pick whatever hole is open for you and find a lane, and that's exactly what Javonte does. You see the O-lineman kind of smashing their blocks down, and this C gap kind of opens up, and he does the rest. He's able to avoid and get off of blocks. He doesn't get tackled by the first guy, and that's what I love about him. And that's what's so hard, because you feel like Jaleel deserves carries, but it's never a time where Javonte runs the ball and like, dang, they should have had Jaleel in. Like, he's doing a phenomenal job himself.
And Samaje got the ball twice and had 2 5-yard runs.
Yep.
And this,
all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And actually, so the Broncos, they signed Emmanuel Wilson. I think they had, at that time it was 3 undrafted rookie free agents this offseason. So Jaleel, Emmanuel, I forget who the other one was. He would have been there in camp. But they cut Emmanuel Wilson, who made the Packers roster and was carrying the ball. So they could have, if they had held on to him, had another running back, another undrafted rookie who could potentially be a part of the rotation, which is crazy. And they obviously don't need him, but the depth that they had at that point is pretty wild.
And Emmanuel Wilson yesterday for the Packers, 2 carries for 19 yards.
Yeah.
Almost 10 yards per carry. Pretty good.
All right, next one. All right, this next one is a shout out to Russ. I know I give him a lot of flack on this show. Yeah, I guess
Not much slack, a lot of slack.
But this is a good job, him finding Jerry Jeudy. Truthfully, Jerry was open the entire time, and he could have hit him right here. But nevertheless, the offensive line is trying to hold their blocks. They don't do a great job this time. He's able to evade pressure, step up in the pocket, and is able to throw a dart to Jerry Jeudy to get another first down and keep the ball rolling, and ultimately led to 3 points by the offense. So shout out to him for making this play. And Jerry Jeudy for staying alive, man. I think it was a good job for him sitting. He found a hole in the coverage. You don't have to run and get out of the hole and just hope that Russ finds you, sit there and do your job. And he did good.
Yeah, and I mean, actually, Todd, you gave him slack and flack on that
did.
play because he could have thrown it to Jeudy earlier, but I think you're right. That's a fair criticism. It's also a fair compliment that he did a good job of finding time in the pocket to throw the ball.
I try to keep it honest. I try to be honest. All right, this is 1st and 10, third quarter, where the the offense is kind of sputtering, but they're finding ways to get the ball going again. When you run the ball really well, it forces teams to get in the man coverage. And when they get in the man coverage, they have to load the box. They have to try to stop Javonte and our talented running backs. And that's when you get guys one-on-one. And this is Russell Wilson finding Jerry Jeudy in one-on-one coverage. They motion down to a stack with him and Courtland. When you have those two great playmakers together, I think it's tough for any defense to try to manage them. And, Jerry Jeudy runs a simple out route here, but he's able to get away from the defender. You see him right there, and then Russ just throws a dart to him once again. So this is when Jerry Jeudy is at his best. If he can get one-on-one coverage, I don't think there's really anybody in the league that can stick with him one-on-one. And just like this is separation. He has like 4 yards of separation on a simple out route. He runs his routes really well, and he was able to get away, and Russ was able to find him the ball. When we run the ball well, we're able to put our receivers in one-on-one coverage, and against Courtland and Jerry Jeudy, I think they're going to win.
Yep. Yeah, and just another great breakdown pass and the running game.
Yeah.
Todd, are you an offensive guy now? You're just breaking down offense. I mean, do you wish you would have played tight end? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think if I was a tight end, I felt like I would have been a dog, though. I for sure would have been a dog.
You would have been the Greg Dulcich route, the Chris Manhertz route, the Travis Kelce route.
No, I would have been like, what am I looking now? The boy from San Fran.
Oh,
Kittle.
George Kittle. He's a dog.
Yeah, because I would have loved to block just as much as I would have, loved to catch touchdown passes.
Yeah.
So.
See, they all say that, but I never believe them.
I do believe George Kittle.
I believe George Kittle.
You believe Kittle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's laughing while he's throwing you in the dirt. Like, he's having a good time with it.
Yep. Man, Todd, one of your former teammates, just really unfortunate that Jake Butt wasn't able to stay healthy. Jake Butt was picked by the Broncos 1 pick before George Kittle.
Really?
Yes.
Yep.
How about that?
Well, Jake Butt was a really good.
He was.
He was a really good tight end in college.
Yeah,
and
he
they got
was.
injured.
He did.
So he really would have been higher up had he not been injured.
Oh, I told myself that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like first, second round pick.
There was somebody in a
Absolutely.
Jake Butt jersey at the tailgate yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah. Had Jake Butt and Osweiler.
Dang.
You gotta have
he's
Jake
a good
on. He does like film breakdowns and stuff now. So
Big Ten Network, I think.
yeah, we gotta have him on the show.
We should do that.
That'd be great. Especially if the Broncos look at J.J. McCarthy from Michigan, his former school. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to have a tight end day with Jake Butt.
We should have
Let's not go too far. You know what I'm saying? We could just one at a time.
Oh man, that's good.
All right, this is next one is the play to Courtland. This is great play design.
Yes.
Once again, they're man to man. So, like I said, when you're able to run the ball, you force teams to try and defend you the best they can. And they're forcing the Packers' hand by putting them in man coverage. And this is just a switch release, little bit of a pick, but I'm for the Denver Broncos, so I didn't see anything. And Courtland's able to get to the outside. This is a good ball from Russell Wilson. He doesn't try to force it. He just lobs it up there, lets Court run under it, and it's a touchdown. Good celebration by Court. And his draft stock went up right there.
Yeah, absolutely did. And I mean, man, just a great play design. If you do that play, it is going to be called a penalty at sometimes, but it's smart to do it because other times it's not going to be called a penalty. And man, I thought the game was over right here. I was like, with the way the Packers offense has been so inept, 16-3 lead, game is over.
Really? See, I was looking at saying 7-1 odds on the Packers. 11 in a row? I didn't take it, though.
You were being savage yesterday. You're throwing out the live bet mid halftime to say bet on the Packers.
I didn't
to
say
win.
Bet on them. I said here are the odds. Should people bet on them? It's a question.
I think it was leading.
And the answer was no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was leading because they'd lost 10 times in a row with a halftime lead. So halftime.
They hadn't.
Well, they had.
No, not according to Sean
Well,
Payton. They had not. Henry.
They had. He hadn't. He hadn't.
He had lost 3.
The Broncos had. Sean Payton's Broncos, no.
Here we go. Some
Defense. This is my last clip, but I have to point out something that I didn't love yesterday, I guess, from our defense, and that was our rush. We didn't have the ability to get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
And this is 5-on-5. This is big on big. There's 5 rushers on 5 on linemen, and we just need one person to win a one-on-one matchup, and we're not finding a way to do it. We gave Jordan Love too much time, and I thought that, we did a great job of defending this play. We're in zone coverage, like a form of cover 3, but there's so much time that Jordan has they allow this tight end to get all the way across to the other side of the field behind both of our linebackers, with our corners being vacating in cover 3 with a man deep. This is simply because we're just not able to win one-on-one pass rush blocks right now. And I know that young guys like Nick Bonita are stepping up and making plays, but these are the times that we need you to step up and make a play and allow our rush and coverage to work together, because this is way too much time for Jordan Love. And if we give other quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes this kind of time, these are like touchdown plays, you know what I'm saying? So we got to be able to win one-on-one blocks.
Yeah, maybe the worst game for the pass rush. And I thought it set up to be a great game for the pass rush, just because Jordan Love is a guy that can hold on to the ball for a long time, can kind of get flustered and roll out, and then that leads to more sacks. And I don't even want to say credit to him, because I just think it was an off day for the Broncos pass rush. Yeah. And I saw that last clip. That was Kareem about to light him up.
Was that what happened? I don't think that was a flag, man. I think that was a terrible call, and I think that the offense has to do something to protect themselves. It's not all on me.
I haven't dug in, but I still haven't seen the angle where it shows the helmet to helmet.
It's like he's right underneath. I felt like chest and like neck.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I still haven't seen it. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think he hits the head pretty clearly.
Does he?
And unfortunately, I mean, Kareem, because he was fined this last time for the 4th time, $43,000 for was it a hit or was it just I think it was. Yeah. And that was escalated to $43,000. It should have been like $10,000 or something, but it was escalated because of it was his 4th time. This one's going to be like a $100,000 fine.
He got it.
He's only making
$2 million, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is actually hurting his paycheck now. And I think he's going to be suspended, unfortunately.
Which is a game paycheck.
I think, which will be a game on top of, they'll also fine him for this pass hit. So, man, I agree with Sean Payton. Sean said Kareem's not trying to play dirty. I do not think Kareem Jackson is a dirty player. I just think he plays 100%. And these plays with the way the rules are now are just going to happen. But Kareem, you can't hit any part of the head, even if it's with your shoulder. You just can't do it with the way the rules are. And I think it's more of an issue with the rules, and like there's just nothing you can do in that situation. But I think
can you pull up that clip?
I think by the rules, if you go to Andrew Mason's, look at that.
Look when he launches. He's launching now. His shoulders are below the tight end shoulders.
Yeah.
The tight end then drops his body.
Yep.
And meets and comes level with Kareem. So what can I do there? I've already launched my body to make a clean tackle.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna hit this guy right underneath, like by his elbow.
Yeah.
But if he drops, now I can't move at that point.
No, and
you've
again,
made your decision.
It makes it really tough and unfair on defenses. But the way the rule is, they don't care about any of that.
No, they don't care about any of that.
They don't care. So just by the rule, though, it was the right call. But I totally agree with what you're saying, Todd. It isn't fair. So I think in the moment they got it right, but I do think that it's just so unfair to defenses.
We got to talk to somebody at the NFL.
Yeah.
And you just continue to see it with Kareem, and man, it just stinks because now he might be fined like $100,000 for this one, miss another $100,000 if that's a game check. We're talking about like $300,000 of a guy that's making like right around $2 million.
What are the odds?
He's making $2 million this year, but this is his 14th year.
It's true.
I'm sure he's okay.
I'm sure he's okay.
I don't even know if he's worried about the $2 million from this year coming in.
Maybe not. I think like you're not playing for money at this point.
He's blessed.
That's true.
What are the odds that he winds up paying to play this year?
Oh,
like the fines outweigh the salary. Like he needs at least a few more big ones. Yeah.
That would be insane.
That would be.
I really hope that doesn't come
Me too.
down to it.
Yeah, because if he's playing for 2, that means he's probably taking home like 1.3.
Yeah.
And so he would have to have that many fines. Like that would be a lot.
Yeah.
That would be a ton.
Be ridiculous.
All right, let's hop into the questions and talk to the people after. I talked to the people about Spirit Hound. You know, Spirit Hound, the award-winning whiskey where you can get They won the 2022 Whiskey of the Year at the London Spirits Competition. So they are award-winning whiskey around the globe. They not just have whiskey, they have gin and vodka all across the state. And they have available in over 40 states nationwide. And if you want to check them out, they have a tasting room that's new in the Highlands. Or you can check out their spot in Lyons, Colorado, and bring juniper berries in to get a free cocktail. Their whiskey, vodka, and gin can be purchased at stores across Colorado or ordered online to 40-plus states. And don't worry, you don't have to get a retriever to track a bottle down. Head over to spirithound.com for availability and details on how and where to buy. Okay, let's hop into the comment section. And do we have any super chats you hear? Oh, yes. Yahir wants, blame this on Yahir for all the people that don't want tank talk after a win. But I do still think it's a major storyline for the Broncos. So let's check out where the Broncos draft position is heading in. Wow, I see a comment saying you can tell Zach never played ball. Played ball all of high school. So thank you for that.
I played golf ball.
I did not play golf ball. No, I played football.
Yeah, I played golf.
Oh, you played golf
I also played lacrosse, too. I should lean on that more.
Todd, did you play football in high school?
I
have a
so.
suspicion you did. Yeah.
Never
you
played
did.
lacrosse.
No. What about golf? Were you on the golf team?
No.
No, not on the golf team.
You golf now, though.
I'm a good golfer now.
Yeah.
Okay.
When did you start?
Couple months ago.
Oh, really? Damn, that's impressive.
I try.
Okay, here, let's pull it up. Let's see where the Broncos are in draft order heading into Monday Night Football. And Monday Night Football is important for this. So Broncos, not the first pick, not the second pick, not the third pick, but the fourth pick. And I would have thought going into yesterday, if you told me the Broncos win, I would have said, oh, they're going to fall to like the seventh pick or something. Mm-hmm. But because the Patriots won, because who else won? The Giants won, because the Bears won. I mean, nearly every team with one win outside of the Cardinals won yesterday. Yep. So the Broncos win didn't hurt their draft position all that much. They're still at 4, tied with the Bears for the same record for the 3rd overall pick. You only have the Panthers at 0-6 and the Cardinals at 1-6 with teams with worse records than the Broncos. So yesterday was almost a perfect day for the Broncos in terms of like, yeah, I want my team to win. And also, yeah, I don't want their draft position to get hurt too much. It was almost perfect.
The tough part is that right now there are 10 teams with 2 wins or less.
Right.
So you're really flirting with danger there. I don't mind at this point. Honestly, I'm kind of sick of the tank. I have fun for a couple weeks saying like, oh, yeah, like lose the games. Here's how I do it. At this point, it's like, nah, just go win some football games. I can't lose for another 3 months.
All right.
We're going to have this conversation later in the week
Call me in
because this game coming up, what this win yesterday did was it made the Chiefs game, I think, pretty damn fun this coming week. Like 16-game losing streak. Yeah, they're 8.5-point dogs. Probably
Only
not going to win this game. Only 8.5 because they were 10.5 in Kansas City.
But they also got
they're playing at home.
Asses kicked.
Who?
Well, they lost by 11.
Broncos
I guess they lost by 11.
Almost covered the spread.
But I don't know. At that point, like the Chiefs were like, I don't know. Are they any good? Like they're kind of leaning a lot on Kelsey. But then after yesterday when they just demolished the Chargers, I guess the Broncos got their win too, though, and that's what kind of balances that out.
Well, they're really leaning on Kelsey now. 174 receiving yards yesterday on 12 catches.
That defense too, though.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to actually be able to talk about this game because, hell, if the Broncos win this game, oh man, everything changes. And for a couple of weeks, I don't think we're even going to talk about tanking if they beat the Chiefs. And we're going to dive into that game later this week. But let's hop into the comments. Mile High Sign says, Fresno State alum here. Sac State or Montana ain't beating Fresno. Also, do you think Sean is pissed that he won? Never seen a coach mad after a win.
Man, we whoop on the Fresno State Bulldogs. In that hot, smelly town of Fresno. We come down there and whoop on y'all.
You whooped up on Derek Carr in the NFL quite a lot. So, yeah. Well, who was it? Was Derek? Were you and Derek Carr in school at the same time? No, he probably would have been a little bit before you.
We probably overlapped for 2 years.
A little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
you probably would have whooped up on him if you played him.
Yeah.
I can't find my numbers. I wanted to see what the actual numbers say about who would win that game, but taking too long. Too much scrolling.
Oh,
We had a couple of transfers from Fresno State that came to sack, and they never saw the field. So that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, damn.
That's all I got to say.
I love it. Next comment on the website.
Who are they?
I can't do that.
All right, next comment coming in from on the website from Nash Bronco says, DNVR overlords. This thought has been floating around my head for a few months now. I wasn't quite sure how to express it, so good luck. Is football at the NFL level just harder than we make it out to be? At the end of the day, it's the best athletes in the world being schemed around by people who have dedicated their life's work to out-scheming the other people trying to out-scheme them. Instant and long-term success is so rare. Even the best teams can lose to a lesser opponent because of 1,000 different variables. Do we, as fans and media, just not see the game in the same reality we should? I think perfect person to ask this is Todd, who played.
Yeah, the NFL is tough. I think everybody's good. Everybody has talent. The guys that really stick out are the ones that you try to defend and you don't have an answer for. Like the Andre Johnsons or the Randy Moss. Like, you want to go man-to-man, but you can't go man-to-man. So those are the guys that really stick out and really have, like, dominant careers. But I think for a lot of guys in the NFL, we're kind of all at the same level with the same talent. Yeah. So if the scheme is right, it's hard to really show your dominance, outside of a good defensive or offensive scheme. Yeah,
and that's why Henry and I had a very heated conversation 1 week ago about nearly every game in the NFL comes down to a handful of plays.
Yep.
Because everyone is that good. And now what you find out is the good teams, the good players, don't happen to end up on the right side of those plays. They make it to be they're on the right side of those plays. But yeah, I mean, the difference between a practice squad player and a Pro Bowler, it isn't that significant when you take like a big step back in life and you look at all the athletes that are in the world. No, they're still world-class athletes, but that's just the little difference that you need is to have that one step up.
Yeah, it's just like a 4-3 and a 4-5. It's like,
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're being measured, but it's a very, very small difference between even those two numbers.
Yep.
So I think it's the same is true for like talent and athletes in the NFL.
Yep, 100%. And like if PJ Locke was half a step slower, I still think he gets to that ball yesterday because it was just an ultimate lob by Jordan Love. But like maybe he doesn't make the play. And Justin Simmons after the game, he said something. He said, I typically don't say this, but the Packers ran the perfect play for the coverage that we were in. PJ just made an incredible play. So maybe if PJ really is a 4-7 instead of a 4-5, he doesn't get there. The Packers get a touchdown, and we're talking about a 1-6 team, and then we're talking about how the Broncos have the number 2 overall pick. Wow, Yahir's happy about that. Damn. Get mad at Yahir, guys, not us. Wow, is your mic on? No. Muted! Turn your mic on, Yahir. Wow.
So many hot takes.
Yeah, seriously. Hot takes that you're not willing to come out on camera for. Wow.
You said what about RK? Oh, that's crazy.
Wow.
Yo, why would you do that?
Don't get me started.
Oh, he's
Hank
going to
and
be
RK are
gone.
the worst two people I've ever met.
Wow.
Dang.
Okay.
Do you wanna
I
say-
do have bad news. So Bill Connolly put out ESPN's college football rankings. So it's not just like the top 25. It's like, what is this? This is 1 through 665. So all the way through D3. Fresno State is number 52 and Sacramento State's 106.
52 what? That's because we lost yesterday.
Exactly.
We were higher than that
Exactly.
before. Yeah,
Yep.
we lost.
There we go.
You just had to pull that up. Huh?
Yeah. I was hoping for
Damn.
better results.
And RK, we love you. I don't care what your hair says about you.
It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I don't care.
They mean the alley, RK.
What?
I don't know what he said.
Next
just
one
causing
coming in
trouble.
from Moogie94 says, wow, Winfield's good, my friends. Having RK back in Bronco Land Pod is also soothing for some reason. I appreciate Todd, Alexis, and Hank's many different viewpoints. This pod has truly blossomed since the early BSN days. One question, do you think the defense overall has stepped up and began plugging gaps in communication better? Or does Justin Simmons, one player, make that much of an impact on our defense? It's scary for me to think that it's the latter. Anyways, let's bask in this Victory Monday and enjoy the dub that pushes us ahead of the Packers and the all-time matchup. Broncos now lead 8-7. Good day, y'all. And, of course, there's one big matchup between those two that everyone remembers.
There is one.
Yep.
Well, I wasn't alive yet. I remember about it. I don't...
What?
Oh, no, I would have been alive.
alive.
I would have been 1.
Yeah. You don't remember. That's fair.
So, yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, the defense definitely cleaned a bunch of things up, obviously. Like, the guys are in the right spots. That's big. Having Justin Simmons back is also massive, and for kind of that reason, too. He helps line everybody up and make sure, specifically the coverage, I guess, are set. With the front 7 run fits, he wouldn't be too involved. But, yeah, I mean, there's definitely been growth there. This is no longer the worst defense in the NFL. Like, whether this is, like, a good defense... We get a couple tests here against the Chiefs and Bills to find out, but they look like they can just go out there and play competitive football, and that's a huge step in the right direction.
Well, technically, it still is the worst defense in the NFL, tied for the worst defense in the NFL.
If you look at the numbers, if you're averaging everything that's happened up to this point, if you weigh what they did against Miami, I'm saying like what I see right now, that's a fine defense.
Yeah, no, and I agree.
They're fine.
And you look 2 weeks ago. The Broncos were on track to be the second worst defense in the history of the NFL, giving up over 35 points per game. The past 2 weeks, really, they're giving up 18 points per game. So they cut that number in over half. This defense is playing winning football right now, and the record reflects it. I mean, 1-1, and with one of those games being against the Chiefs, you held them to 19 points. If the Broncos defense does that again this weekend, they really should win this game against the Chiefs, and then we're talking about a whole new season. I'm excited to break that down, and we're going to have Pat Surtain on to start breaking down how the hell are they going to stop Travis Kelce, because clearly that's a key. We'll have Pat on tomorrow to break that down. To break the interception down, Hank's going to do some homework and come back with the official rules to see if we're grilling the NFL tomorrow and handing an interception over to Pat. But we're going to do that tomorrow. Stay tuned at noon for this show. Thanks so much for rolling with us. We'll see you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.